Former presidents are not above the law. That's what 3 federal judges say after rejecting former President Donald Trump's appeal in court. Trump's lawyers argued that anything the former president did in the run-up to the January 6th Capitol riots was part of his official duties. The District of Columbia justices disagreed, leaving Trump to try and bring his appeal to the Supreme Court of the United States. Joining us from Colorado this morning on how this ruling could affect the rest of Trump's legal troubles is Frank Bowman, constitutional scholar and professor at the University of Missouri School of Law. Welcome back to Your Morning.
Nice to be with you.
Put this into context for us up here in Canada. What does this ruling now mean for Trump?
Well, it affects directly only, of course, his the one case pending against him in Washington, D.C., where he's charged with a variety of crimes for the effort to reverse the election results on January 6th. The result for that case is that the trial, which was originally set for early March, will continue to be put off at least until next Monday. The Court of Appeals here, in rejecting Trump's claim for immunity, was also careful to make sure that, as far as possible, he couldn't use this case to delay things too much further. So essentially, he's given till next Monday to either appeal to the full panel of the D.C. Circuit, or more importantly, to appeal to the U.S. Supreme Court. If he does so by next Monday, and if the Supreme Court gives him a stay, then the trial proceedings would be stalled again. If he doesn't do that, or if the Supreme Court decides that it's not going to hear the case, then the trial in D.C. will start relatively soon.
Between the dates of February 12th, which is the Monday, and then the delayed date for which was supposed to be the beginning of March, the real date to keep your eyes on is in November of this year, of course, when people go to vote for the next president. So how do all of these delays affect that end date? How much longer could he drag this on?
It's pretty clear that Trump's principal defense tactic in all of the criminal cases that are facing him, and of course he has 4, has been less to defend on the merits and more to try to drag this thing on past the November election date, when he hopes he'll win the presidency. And once he becomes president, he hopes to be able to put a stop to all of these cases, or at least the federal ones. This case doesn't affect anything other than the D.C. case, but I think there's a reasonable chance, given the delays inherent in American criminal litigation, that he will be able to push the case back at least into the late spring or early summer, which will mean that even if he's convicted, the case would still be on appeal at the time of the election in November.
Trump has responded on Truth Social to the ruling. This is part of what he said. It will become, talking about this decision, it will become a political weapon used for election interference. Even our elections will be corrupted and under siege. So bad and so dangerous for our nation. And then in all caps, save presidential immunity. Here's a basic question for you. Does this idea of presidential immunity actually exist as Trump is interpreting it?
No. The Supreme Court has held in the past that sitting presidents do have a certain form of partial immunity for at least civil cases, but it's only partial. There's never been any holding that either a sitting or a former president of the United States has immunity from criminal prosecution for doing things that are in fact violations of law. And that was the principal point that was made by the D.C. Circuit here. They essentially said, first of all, we're somewhat skeptical that your actions in relation to January 6th and the effort to overturn the election were part of your official duties anyway. But even if we admit that, we simply do not admit the fact that that presidents, even in performing their official duties, can break the criminal law.
So just to be clear, Mr. Bowman, so presidential immunity is not something that actually exists. Is this like one of those phrases like alternative facts or fake news? It's now in the vernacular, but it doesn't actually exist.
Well, it doesn't exist, at least according to the D.C. Circuit, and one hopes the United States Supreme Court will affirm that conclusion.
Mr. Bowman, always fascinating to talk to you. Thank you.
My pleasure.
Hey, thanks for watching. If you liked this, be sure to subscribe here, or you can check out more Your Morning videos right here.